Autoline Daily is brought to you by Dow Automotive Systems, improving durability and increasing design flexibility with Betamate structural adhesives at dowbetamate.com.
Here's today's top headlines. More evidence that those runaway Toyotas are nothing more than driver error. Car sales are starting to look a lot better in the American market, and the Canadian Post Office goes with the Transit Connect. Up next, we'll be back with the news behind the headlines. This is Autoline Daily for Friday, March 19th, 2010, and now the news. Here is more evidence that those runaway Toyota Priuses are nothing more than driver error. Last week, we reported on a woman in the Westchester area of New York who claimed her Prius suddenly accelerated out of control even though she had her foot on the brake, causing her to crash into a stone wall. But Bloomberg reports that the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration got the information from the onboard black box, and it shows the brakes were never engaged and that the throttle was wide open. And all you know, I've been saying from the beginning, this is driver error. It's the same Audi unintended acceleration story all over again. And in related news, the Wall Street Journal reports that Toyota sent a letter to ABC News demanding that it retract a news story on runaway Toyotas and offer an apology. Toyota accuses ABC of fabricating part of the story, showing a rapidly revving tachometer that was actually shot while the car was parked. This was part of a test concocted by Professor David Gilbert where he rewired part of the car to cause it to accelerate on its own. Toyota criticized ABC for not allowing it to review Professor Gilbert's research or provide a response for that news story. ABC says its lawyers are reviewing Toyota's letter. Looks like Geely and Ford are now negotiating through the media on the Volvo deal. Yesterday, we reported that Ford's CEO Alan Mulally said the talks were progressing, but now, according to Bloomberg, Geely's chairman says the negotiations are very tough and that the situation is changing constantly. He also said it would be Ford's fault if the deal fell through. Last year, both companies agreed to sign a deal by the end of this month. Car sales in the American market are headed in the right direction. The Wall Street Journal reports that sales are picking up this month with help from incentives, and J.D. Power is forecasting an annualized rate of 12 million units for the month of March, the highest since last year's Cash for Clunkers program. But Edmunds is even more bullish. It's predicting a SAAR of 13.5 million cars for this month. Yesterday, McLaren announced details of its all-new supercar called the MP4-12C. I'll let the performance numbers do the talking. It can hit 200 kilometers an hour, that's 124 miles an hour, in less than 10 seconds. It can stop from that speed in less than 5 seconds, and it should be able to blast through the quarter mile in around 11 seconds. To achieve these astonishing numbers, the company built the car around a one-piece molded carbon fiber chassis that reportedly only takes 4 hours to manufacture. It's powered by a rear-mounted 3.8-liter V8. With twin turbochargers, it delivers 600 PS, that's around 592 horsepower, giving it an almost unbelievable power-to-weight ratio of about 4.8 pounds per horsepower. The McLaren MP4-12C goes on sale the spring of next year. Pricing has not yet been announced. Here's some more good news for Ford. The company reports that Canada Post has selected the Transit Connect to replace its national fleet of vehicles. The mail delivery service will purchase nearly 1,200 of the compact delivery vans this year. In related news, Wards reports that the TC may have some stiff competition in Russia. Ukrainian automaker Korporacja Bogdan has begun exporting a car-based delivery vehicle to the country. Called the Bogdan 2310, it's based on a Lada and features a 1,200-pound payload rating. Starting price is around $9,500, and please, will one of our Ukrainian viewers please send me an email telling me on how to properly pronounce the name of that company. And coming up next, we're going to take a look at this. I'm sure most of you know what this is, but we'll talk about where it came from and why it looks the way it does. On last night's Autoline After Hours, our guest was John Krafcik, the CEO of Hyundai Motors America. And we got him talking about the kinds of improvements that have gone into the new Hyundai Sonata, including this fairly exotic-looking piston. Talk a little bit about this, because I've never seen a piston in a mass production car, to me, that looks this small and this light.
Yeah, and it really does kind of give you an indication of how far we've gotten. You heard Csaba Csata, the former editor of Car and Driver, at our discussion this morning, talking about how this piston looks just like a Ferrari Formula One piston he has on his desk from about 10 years ago. I mean, that's how far the pace of automotive engineering has moved over the past couple of years. But I mean, it's a classic high compression piston. You can see how carefully it's been designed. Anti-friction material here on the side, 3 rings. I'm not a powertrain engineer, so I can't tell you the wherewithal and why for every part of this thing. All I know is when I look at it, it looks like an extremely well-engineered part. You know what I mean?
And I think that's what I was getting at, why I wanted to bring that out is, I mean, you guys are going through details and stuff that certainly Hyundai never did before, and I'm not sure that other mass producers are taking to this level.
This particular piston, as I recall, weighs something on the order of 20 or 25 grams less than a comparable Toyota Camry piston. And we talked about that when we launched the car at the LA Auto Show as an example of the detailed, focused obsession we have on weight. You know, and if you can take 25 grams out of something that's going up and down 6,000 times per minute, that's the most important weight you want to take out of the car, right? And it's just that attention to detail and thousands of engineering decisions like this one that lead to a car that weighs 3,199 pounds, right? It's pretty good.
You can see that entire webcast right now on our website, AutolineDetroit.tv. Okay, it's Friday, and you know what that means. It's time to answer this week's trivia question. We asked you, what term is popularly used to describe this type of shifter? And the correct answer is, it's a pistol grip shifter. And the winner is Daniel Kohler from Painesville, Ohio. Congratulations, Daniel. You just won a Ford Super Duty Power Stroke baseball hat. One quick note before we go. If you've got a BlackBerry or a smartphone, you can now listen to Autoline Daily from the convenience of your phone. You need to get a free app called Stitcher and load it in your phone. I did it with my BlackBerry, though I had to upgrade the operating system. But again, you can download that for free. It's just another way that we're trying to make it as conveniently as possible for you to get your daily news on what's going on in the global automotive industry. And that's it for today's top news. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.